we recently organized a survey of our customers and fellow colleagues in the field, and 90% of those organizations felt that alert prioritization and the ability to simplify remediation in kind of light of all the complexity we see within infrastructure was the number one issue facing their organizations today. So, Yogesh, I'm going to maybe start with you here. In your experience as a CISO, how important has this, or how big maybe has this problem of alert fatigue become within organizations? And, how important is getting prioritization correct?
It's a great question, right? I think, it's probably one of the top 5 core problems that exist in the security space, right? And there are a couple of reasons for that. If you take a step back, the security industry as a whole has a problem, what I would call a 100% problem, right? So security teams are responsible for 100% of good outcomes. You won't find a security team there that says that we are responsible for 70% good outcomes, right? So then the question is, how do we achieve 100% good outcomes or 100% prevention? Essentially, it means we want 100% detection, we want 100% investigations, and we want 100% remediation, right? That stuff, it just means that we want to find everything, fix everything, investigate everything, and remediate everything, right? Now, that's one part of the problem. The other part of the problem is we have a volume problem, right? To get to 100% detection, when you think about vulnerabilities, we are already good at trying to find the known nodes, right? If there is a package that we know has a vulnerability, it's not that difficult to find, but there is just too many of them, right? So there are too many things that need patching, too many vulnerabilities that need fixing. And on the maybe the cyber defense detection and response side, companies are struggling with a trade-off between noise and false positives on one end and false negatives on the other end, which kind of, again, going back to the 100% problem, you need to tip the scale and alert on everything and detect everything to kind of get there, right? So now these two combined together is a lethal kind of state, right? Because what that has led to is you have too many tools, you have too much insight, you have too many things to do, and too few people to do it. And I think that has kind of led to, in many cases, burnout in teams because whether it is the SOC and incident response teams or whether it's vulnerability management teams, there is a lot of burnout that is happening. But even more importantly, right, things are getting missed also, right? Things get missed because when there is too much to do, there is a repeated nature of things where it's possible to either not act on things or not miss things. I mean, there are a lot of stats out there. There's one stat that you have up there. Sometime last year, I came across an IDC stat that said that regardless of the segment of that you operate in, right, whether you're a small SMB company or you're a large enterprise, IDC found on average close to around 30% alerts were being, not acted upon or not missed. And that's, again, going back to the 100% versus volume kind of trade-off, right? So it's a very critical problem for the industry to solve.
No, I definitely appreciate that insight, and it's something we see organizations struggling with every single day. So maybe, Sandeep, I throw this question over to you. After seeing so many customers kind of struggle with this key problem statement, what has Defense done to help them kind of identify the critical issues facing them in the cloud today and really prioritize this deluge of information that's coming at them from these cloud security tools?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree with Yogesh more. Absolutely everything that he said. I think it applies even more. The problem is even more severe in cloud security, in CNAPP specifically, right? Either you have agentless ways of scanning or network-based scanning or host-based scanning. You're always detecting more that you can fix. It never converges. The more you scan, the more you find. It's a Sisyphean task. And we had done a blog post around that earlier. I remember that. So that's really the problem. So you're not seeing broadly enough is not a problem anymore. You're seeing broadly enough. You're scanning often enough. But ultimately, what do you do with those hundreds of thousands of findings that are being thrown at you every time you scan? And in fact, we're working with some customers, and I think Yogesh can second what I'm really saying here is one of the customers, probably in the top 20 companies, software companies in the world, every time they scan, 40,000 vulnerabilities are reported. one of the financial majors that we were speaking to, 100,000 vulnerabilities plus every time they scan. And we're speaking only about vulnerabilities so far. We're not speaking about CSPM, that's cloud misconfigurations. We're not speaking about malware. You put all of this together, this is a huge problem.
Watch the entire webinar at deepfence.io/resources.